everyone, Suzi here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, I'm going to go over something a little bit different. We're going to be taking a look at some debuffs and the characters that place them. Alright, so this is something that was posted on the Watcher of Realms Discord. Let me see, back on the beginning of October, this month actually. There's been a few of these, and I'm going to look at all of them. So I don't think I've seen anybody else talk about this or cover this in a video that I've noticed a thumbnail of anyway. And I thought it'd be fun to do something a little bit different and showcase some things that are maybe posted in social media, in Discord, but not on YouTube, not in-game. Or maybe these are in the YouTube community tab, but how many people actually follow the main official YouTube and notice these things? I don't think a lot of people do. People usually follow their favorite creators, but not necessarily notice these random posts from social media, right? So yeah, I really wanted to take a quick look at this because I thought these were really interesting. And I also, just wanted to, like I said before, I want to do different content. Like, I like being the person that doesn't have a niche, that just does a little bit of everything. I feel like that is my niche. And covering some quirky stuff like I always have with Dev Insights or whatever, or random reaction videos. I feel like it's a little bit different than a lot of content creators in this game. And showcasing something like this is also something a little bit different, I think. So let's take a look. So first of all, we're going to talk defense reduction. All right, so Estrid comes out as the best placer of defense reduction, doing the same amount that Hatsa can as well, which I forget. Why do I forget that's even part of Hatsa's kit? Yeah. So Estrid is amazing. I had her on my Epic Only Challenge account, and my god, like, she is such a carry if you can get her early. So good. Oh my god, with the Kagiri event and Estrid, anyone just starting an account getting both of them, y'all are gonna be solid with your fighters. Alright, so let's read here. So her skill Crack, basic attack, random trigger. Each attack launched has a 20% chance of inflicting defense reduction upon the enemy. And that's a max effect of 30% defense reduction. That's a lot. That's awesome. I didn't even remember it being that much. That's, of course, fully skilled. I'm not sure if this includes awakenings. This might also... Some of these things here might be including awakenings. So don't quote me if you're like, I just looked at the skill and it's only this. It might also look at awakenings and, of course, yeah, skill ups as well. Yeah, that's really, really good. So Hatsa, her skill Soul Torment, attack bounces to one more target with the damage of each bounce increasing by 5%. Each enemy hit also suffers from defense reduction for 10 seconds. So again, really big version. And look at Maureen here, our lovely derpy pirate. I mean, she's not the derpy. I'm the derpy pirate. She's the pirate. Stores energy from each shot 4 times. And upon the next shot, releases a burst bullet that guarantees a crit hit and inflicts defense reduction lasting for 7 seconds. 20% defense reduction from Maureen. Pretty solid, right? I think I didn't even remember that, like, being such a high amount. So you can see here we also have Ares and Torador with that same debuff. Then to continue down the list, we have Lust, Kai, Maul, Cratch, Brunor, Ardea, and Magnus. So they have smaller versions. Lust and Kai. Okay, they do say, like, with their A1, Lust has that. With Kai's A3, he has that. Okay, didn't even notice that was on there. Was that on the first page? If it was, I just didn't even see it. Okay, so that's a good way to look at this. This is really good information, I think, to understand that it's not always about who's doing the most damage as a character, but when you place a debuff like this, you're making the entire team be able to do more damage. So someone like a Kai that might not have been the best damage dealer before his new buff, hopefully he'll be better now anyway, don't forget that he's bringing a really important buff. The problem is, or debuff, sorry. The problem is someone like Maul, who's way easier to build and max out, also brings that same debuff. just a little smaller version. So that's also the problem, is when characters are meh, and you have to have Kai's A3 in order to have that. So maybe Kai with his A3, if you've pulled too many copies of Kai, don't forget about this. And also, of course, he is, again, getting a buff. So the description of this might be a little bit different now. I know he got a lot of changes, so double check that if this is changed as well. But I don't think that changed. I think it just, it made it better. Definitely not worse. But yeah, defense reduction. This is an important debuff for being able to break defense. You know, like you need more attack to break the defense and to have your damage actually matter. And this can help do that. Plus, it just, yeah, enables the team to do more damage. You know, if you played Raid or any of those other games, defense down, defense reduction, decreased defense, those kind of terms are huge usually for damage as an enabler for the whole team. So that's what I loved about Eris. He has a ton of debuffs that help the team overall to do a lot of damage, where he might not be the one who does a ton of damage himself, but he can certainly help the whole team too. So let's check out the other ones. Next, we have vulnerability physical damage. So this is a good one. Again, Eris at the top. Physical damage taken plus 30% is what he gives. So his skill, Vital Strike, there's a 25% chance of dealing 200% damage with basic attack. Targets inflicted with vulnerability by the hero himself take double damage. During the ultimate, the chance is increased to 35%. So he has a chance of placing this as well. Really cool. Targets marked with the ultimate will be inflicted with vulnerability, physical damage, and magic damage for, of course, Twin Fiend and Soul Cadence, and they both have the 25% version. So again, this is a big part of Twin Fiend and Soul Cadence value. Twin Fiend is the better overall at enabling an Infernal team to do more damage, but Soul Cadence is the one who does more damage himself as a hero. And then we have our, I almost said Ardea. Valeria down here as well. She also does this, which makes her really great in Arena too. If she's applying that debuff herself, she's making herself do more damage and everyone around her, on top of her amazing kit for Arena as it is. So there we go. And then Magnus, I forgot Magnus has this as well. So sometimes the characters themselves might not be, again, that exciting, but remember that adding these sort of debuffs enable a whole team to do more damage. That's the biggest thing. And so someone like Ares that doesn't get a lot of love, he's going to be in a lot of these lists, and it's nice to see that he really is at the top. All right, to round out this list as well, more physical damage taken, 20%. We have Durza, Valderon, and Pyros. And then 15% with Admiral Claw with Awaken 3 only. And then 12% for Aeon and 10% for Volca. So Volca does do some vulnerability and all that stuff, but it is a low version, so she's not the best for that job, but it definitely helps if you don't have anyone else in the team. All right, now this is a buff, not a debuff. So, but another one that enables your entire team potentially to do more damage, or at least some people around, right? Or is it? Let's kind of see how they're looking at this one. Allies revived by miracle gain a divine blessing of damage increase for 10 seconds. Okay, so this is who can buff a hero to give them, or an ally, at least one ally, to give the most damage increase. What about themselves? Is this going to talk about themselves as well? Let me see if they have any sort of description for this one. This one's a little quirkier. I don't really like this one, because this isn't like guaranteeing the whole team is getting more damage, where the debuffs placed on the enemy, that's the entire team, or at least if it's physical damage, all the physical damage heroes. If it's magic damage or vulnerability, all the magic damage heroes are going to do more damage. But this is very niche, so I don't know if I really like this comparison. Yeah, again, just more hero effect statistics. This is part of their new series, but they don't really go into detail about this one. This one's weird, again. I don't know about this one. So Durza, if an ally HP drops below 75 or 50% due to the HP reduction of Sanguine Rite, they will gain damage increase, which is 30 to 50%. Okay, if not, half of the damage increase will be granted. He causes, that's right, he kills your team. That's what people always joked about him. He kills your team. Then we have in it as well. Each ancient core assigned upon in its deployment grants damage increase to the assigned ally, and each ancient core assigned afterward grants a lower damage increase to the assigned ally instead. So starts with 30%, goes to 15. And then we have Lily. When authority protection is triggered, the saved ally gains damage increase for 10 seconds. Really big. So that's amazing. That's what makes her so strong in Guild War is she's one of the only revivers. I mean, like, Val can revive someone, Lily can revive someone, or prevent their death, I guess. And when she does that, both of them are kind of doing that same thing. When they prevent the death or revive, they're giving a big damage increase. Obviously, Velk's is dramatically more, but that is at a 5 that we're talking. So not the most realistic for most accounts. So if anything, I would say, is Durza better? I don't know. Maybe Lily is actually the best out of these 4. For this should be number 1. Because it's not so conditional. So maybe Lily really is the best. But yeah, Valk has the highest potential with Max Awakening, but not the most relatable thing in the world. And it's only if, again, one hero, same thing for Lily though. The one saved ally gets an increase, not everyone on the whole team getting an increase. And then there's some others here, so let's take a look. Magda has been a new popular one. The hero adjacent allies and allies within attack range gain penetration increase and damage increase. Okay, there we go. That one's better. So Magda helps everyone who's in her range at least to have a damage increase. Not just like, if they die or almost die, we increase their damage. So that's a little more reliable. That one I feel like counts a little bit more. Laya, when the ultimate is triggered, applies damage increase to all allies in range. There we go. Same thing. There we go. Laya, Lord, of course, as well. She does up to 10 to 25% damage increase to all allies in range. That's a lot better. See, I feel like the all allies in range should be the comparison for this, not if the one person dies and they revive them, then they get a damage increase. I get the idea, but I don't know that this is the best comparison. I think the other ones are a little more straightforward. Debuffs are a little bit more obvious because if the debuff is on the enemy, it's just on the enemy, period. And it's not a matter of which allies in range are going to be affected by it, hopefully. Unless you're just not doing damage because you're Setrum and you're in your like power down state. But yeah, this was an interesting one, guys. I kind of like looking at this sort of chart, though. Let me know if you guys like this sort of content of maybe looking at some things that are easily overlooked. I'm going to try to keep an eye out for this sort of stuff in the future. And yeah, that's all for today's video. Just a simple, quick look at some of the people that are most helpful in helping your team to have damage increase, whether it be by a debuff or a buff.